thick in my memory that they have become walls of stone. I am somehow tethered to the black and white world of my youth as I struggle to pull myself toward a shadow of gray. I'm not that boy anymore. I try to clear the tar from my thoughts. One more hit will put him to rest. One more swing of the axe handle is all I need. My fingers tighten around my weapon. It's then that I hear the whisper of her words, faint, mixing with the breeze that's whistling through the nettle. She's speaking with that same tisk of disappointment that she sometimes used when I was a child. "Is this what you've become, Max Rupert?" Nancy asks. "Is this who you are?" I loosen my grip on the axe handle. I hadn't thought of Nancy in years. And now, when I need her least, the goblins of my subconscious find it necessary to summon her memory from the dust. I don't want her interference. Not today. I squeeze my eyes shut, and her ghost disappears. The man starts to move, rolling like some newborn larva, blind to the world but coming to understand that something has gone terribly wrong. I had hit the man hard, twice, but not hard enough because he didn't die. The gurgle of each exhale lifts up from the back of his throat like a snore. He'll be waking soon. I climb to my feet and square up like I'm getting ready to split a log. This time, it's not a random whisper of Nancy's voice in the breeze that stops me. It's a memory that took a full day to create, but comes back to me now in a starburst so brief that I can barely blink before it's gone. I was in 5th grade and had just left the cafeteria on my way to recess, racing at a pretty good clip. As I neared the entrance to the playground, a couple of 6th grade boys came around the corner, walking toward me. I didn't know either one of them, but I would later learn that the bigger of the two was a kid named Hank Bellows. As we passed each other, Hank threw his shoulder into me, sending me careening into a wall. I bounced off the brick and went sprawling across the asphalt, the ground chewing up a good chunk of skin on my forearm. I looked up to see both boys laughing as they continued their walk to the cafeteria. When my father heard the explanation for my wound, he lit into me like it had somehow been my fault, as if my weakness brought this on. "You can't let that stand," he said. I could smell the beer in his words. "It don't matter that he's a 6th grader or that he's bigger than you. You have to call him on what he did. He'll never respect you as a man if you don't stand up for yourself. It's up to you and no one else to make this right. That's what a man does. He makes it right. You want to be a man, don't you?" I didn't need his encouragement. I already had plans for Hank. But later, after my dad fell asleep watching TV, Nancy came to my room carrying a first aid kit. She had moved into our house when I was 5, and as near as I could tell at the time, she was my dad's girlfriend. Her touch was gentle, and her words soft. She asked me to go through the incident again as she washed dried blood from the wound. I told her what had happened from beginning to end. "You're pretty mad at Hank, aren't you?" "I'm gonna kick his—" I stopped myself because Nancy didn't like profanity, even though profanity seemed to be half of my dad's daily vocabulary. "Being mad doesn't feel good, does it?" She lifted a dollop of salve to spread on the abrasion. I braced for the sting, but it never came. "All that anger you have inside you?" I gave a shrug. "I've been angry like that before. For me, it felt like I had a stone pressing down on my chest. Can you feel that?" I don't remember if I could feel a stone exactly, but I could feel something, so I nodded. "There's an old saying that a person who goes looking for revenge should dig 2 graves. Have you ever heard that before?" I shook my head no. "It means that you're not solving the problem by getting revenge. You're only making it worse. You're making it just as bad for yourself as for the other person. Do you see what I'm saying?" As she spoke, I relived getting thrown into that wall, and I could feel the anger crawling up my throat. My eyes began to tear up, and I wanted Nancy out of my room. I didn't want her to see me cry. She didn't say anything more as she cut and taped.